welcome. Dun dun dun. All right. If they want to listen to episode 35, we may have a guest pop in here. We're not sure. But regardless, what's going on, Leon?
Oh, you just sitting here. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. Just sitting back, relaxing. It was a good Sunday, good weekend. Started a new job right
Ooh.
now. Yeah, it's a little extra job just for a little extra money. How
Oh,
how how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I kind of started a new segment of my job too. I mean, we might have touched on it before, but the whole forklift gig, I'm working in the warehouse still, but instead of building stuff to be in a box, I'm moving the boxes.
Yeah, that's literally sounds like corporate ladder.
It
I
is,
went from moving, I went from building the boxes
just to
to
moving
moving
the
the
boxes.
boxes.
No, I'm trained up all over that place, and I like it. My a lot of people don't make it there, and it's hard to keep good health because it's like they expect you to work really hard. It's production based. You get paid more the better you work. So if you can just fly through shit and work really hard, then you get paid more than the guy who doesn't. And it's really interesting. I've never worked a warehouse type of gig like this in my life, and I love it because I'm a hard worker. While I'm there, I want to work, and so I'm never late. And you know what I mean. I'm on the ball, and even if I don't do my even if I do poorly, it was my best, and it worked out shitty. I'm never the guy who's like, oh, look at him, he wasn't paying attention and he fucked up. No, it's more like, no, he paid attention the whole shift, but things went wrong. And it's like I
Shit
can live.
happens.
Yeah, no, like when someone tells me I make a mistake, I'm not like, no. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I apologize. How can I fix it? And
Right,
like,
you own up to it.
yeah, and people make mistakes. If I say I'm sorry and I move on, instantly we're past it, and it's just a whole new world. But if you clam up and you're like, oh no, like, oh, you're offending me and my integrity of being a worker, you know.
Well, yeah, it's suspect. It gets really suspect when shit goes wrong at work, and then you just shut your mouth. You keep your lips tight, or you blame somebody or some element. Oh, I couldn't get the box moving because there was a rock in the way of the wheel, so I couldn't move. Then you sitting there blaming other elements and other people for your lack of productivity. It's just never a good look. If you just went, yo, there was a rock in the way, I should have kicked it out of the way, my bad. Next time I'll know to look for rocks.
Where are you at? Where are you at in the sense of like everyone has a different job, at a
Mm.
place. And if someone doesn't do their job and that impedes your job and you were the one who made a mistake, do you just ignore that fact? Or if you believe that the aforementioned is large enough in the scheme to warrant you to throw them under the bus, is that something you do? Because like I have a problem with that. Like now I'm on night shift, bro, and everyone I know is like a close friend, and like I don't want to be like some, not that anyone fucks up, but if someone did, and it was before me in the line of things happening, do I say they fucked up or do I just own up to it? Because I like up until now, I'm owning up to it because I'm new. But like once you've been there a long time, and I don't know. In the restaurant, it was totally different too. Like if someone else fucked up, I immediately said right away because it's like it was food based. So if there's a fuck up, someone is very unhappy or could have got sick, and it's usually a much bigger deal. And so if you didn't do it, you didn't do it, and they blame who did it. And so it's coming from the kitchen. This is a different type of life, and I think I would just own up to it, and But what about you? Like if someone before at your job fucks up big time and it was their job to do it the right way and they didn't, and you get it, and then you fuck up, but you realize that they fucked up, is it your mistake or is it their mistake that you're gonna say?
It's their mistake.
Yeah.
The way my job works is that every one of us is responsible for a product that leads into a bigger product. In my case, I have to get people interested in doing these free webinars that will lead to to an analysis, which leads to making a decision if they want to be a client with us or not. And so from my part, my part of the job to that part where they buy, in between there's a person that sets up that appointment. So if that person that doesn't set up that appointment, that's not my fault. I brought them into the webinar. What did you not do to get them interested in meeting with us to at least hear us out? Because I used to do that job. They moved me over into this other job because we already had two people going, we only really need two people to do this job, to set these basically these sales appointments. And they moved me over into just getting people into the webinars and getting people interested in webinars, rescheduling if they missed it, get if they attended but then they didn't book, get them to come to another one. And that's my job. So they put me in that position. I'm actually in charge of the whole area. So I'm in charge of scheduling every webinar
Mm-hmm.
for a whole month. And then I'm in charge of the admin, in charge of setting it all up, getting it scheduled on our platform, and then getting people into the webinar because one of those things is that people will sign up for a webinar and they don't make it, even though they go, oh yeah, I signed up yesterday. But you call them the next day, they'll look at you going, what the fuck are you talking about? And you have
Yeah.
to go, hey, so last night at midnight you signed up for this webinar. And they go, oh yeah. I've had that happen so many times. It's the funniest thing. But the people who book the sales calls, the two people that are there, it's their job. So if that number falls below 20 from the week before, we had 20 people booked, and then this past week we're at 15.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my fault. It's their fault. So they own it, and everyone at our company is really good about owning up to their responsibility to whatever role what role they play at the company. So when people don't make it to the webinar, we don't get enough people. I got to sit there and I got to figure out, well, all right, what do we do to up this number? Now, sometimes you don't get a lot of people because for whatever, like the other day, Friday, we had six people scheduled at the end of the day last Friday, and only one person made it. And that was,
Okay.
man, and that always gets me, because when you get, so that's on me. I did everything I could to get those people on that. And so my boss will understand that. I go, look, I called everybody at least 5 times. I texted, I emailed, and then I got a response back for someone going, oh, I thought it was at 3:00 my time. Okay. No, it was 3:00 Eastern, which is 2 p.m. your time. So that's another thing I used to have to fight with people with on that one. And they'll go, yeah, it's at 3 p.m. Pacific. No,
That's crazy. How do you get set up with a job like this? Like, was this something you pulled off Indeed or?
no, it's not. I actually, the daughter of the founder, she and I know each other. We did book selling out together at one point. We were like volunteering somewhere, so she remembers me from that. And she would just say, all right, he was really good at it. And she called me up one day because I was in between jobs, and someone said something and it just got around. My name got around, and they called me up and they said, hey, I know you're doing Uber. Why don't you come in for an interview? I said, okay. I sent him my CV, and I just went over there, explained to him, like, look, I used to do I got into video game programming, and I got into, software and web support after college. That's what I'm like. And I told him, look, I'm ready for a change, because the IT industry, it's volatile. It's got an expiry date on it. And plus it's a very vicious, very saturated job market. So I decided to pull myself out of that, because you got to prove yourself better than 45 people that apply for a job. So I just said, you know what, that's not worth the effort. I think I always felt that I was a competent programmer, but I just said, no, I'm done.
I've never gotten to anything with the whole programming. I mean, I know how to do enough. Like, I built my own computer. I didn't program it. I had to go into, like, you know what I mean, the BIOS and fucking click a few things. I don't think that's definitely not the programming you meant. But like, yeah, no, as far as like video games, I mean, does it take a ridiculously long time to build one, like, COD? Or if you had the resources of them, it's not, because they shell everything they shell everything out to different people, right? Like, one dude makes this, one dude makes that, and they just put it all
Yeah.
together at the end.
Oh yeah. And so in game development, you have like you have your technical programmers, you have like your depending on like what the game is, you have interface programmers, you have your gameplay programmers, you got your network programmers. Well, just depending on the contextually what they have to do for the big part of the machine. And I mean, I got into indie development for a while, and I was looking into that. I would go to what they call game jams. And if you don't know what a game jam is, it's usually an event. It's about 40 8 hour. No, it's about 48, 60 hours. If you went there if it starts on a Friday night, ends on a Sunday mid-afternoon, it's about 60 hours. And the whole point is to make a game within that time. So if you're an adequate programmer, you're basically, the idea is that you're making an alpha, you're making something that's functional kind of thing. And I know with software, with engine, with video game engines, there we go. With video game engines such as Unity and Unreal, you can actually make a game pretty quickly if you are not looking to make something too intense like COD. If you were trying to make something like COD, then you would have to put some hours in. If you wanted to make something like freaking Mortal Kombat level video game, you're definitely gonna put the hours in, because it is people's time. It is people's time. So if you're in a sport, and of course, if they're not getting paid for it, because it's one of those things where like you get paid when the game comes out kind of thing, where once it makes its money. So you're not getting paid for a while. So what do you got to do? You got to make money somewhere. So you have a 9-to-5 job, and then, or you're working like maybe something like you, where you're working at a warehouse overnight, right? From 11 o'clock at night to all the way up to about 8 in the morning. You come home.
I go 1:30 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Right. And so then you only have that time outside. So when you get home, you're programming, and then you go to sleep and you wake up at like 11 in the morning, and you could do a little bit more before you have to go to work. It's kind of so you have these small windows, and that's why sometimes games take long. So unless the person is kickstarting it or doing a GoFundMe or has got someone that actually invests in their game, it's pretty difficult. But yeah, does that answer your question?
No. What do you play to get off of technical aspects of video games? What do you actually play?
Oh, right now I'm playing Final Fantasy IX. It's a remastered version on the Nintendo Switch, which has just been great. But yeah, I'll throw in other games in between, because one of the problems because I like Final Fantasy IX. I played it 21 years ago when it came out. It was one of my favorite games when I was a teenager, dude. And I'm playing it now and I still love it. But one of the things I don't love about those traditional Japanese role-playing games is what they call the grinding, where you're just wandering outside the world map, getting into battle after battle after battle to level up your character so they're strong enough to fight the next boss that you have to fight to progress the story of the game. And right now, when that happens, I don't have that attention span like I used to when I was a teenager. And I throw in other games in the mix just to keep it all mixed up. I go, I'm not gonna sit here and grind for 2 hours. I'm gonna throw on Doom 64.
You would hate my game.
Oh, what game do you got?
So when I was in elementary school, I played old school RuneScape.
No,
so I still have I made a new COVID old school RuneScape account, and I'm gonna max it out. And I also play the 3D version. I'm such a fucking nerd. I would play both simultaneously, but I was an idiot and made the same email for both. So it errors me out, and I can't ever change that email. I looked into it, and it's like, okay, but it's probably for the better. so I'm oscillating out of the 27 skills or whatever. I'll play the 3D version and work on some skills, and then I'll play the other version and work on different skills. And in fucking 7 or 10 years, I'll be done with both. And not even, because they're so progressive now.
I remember RuneScape being popular, and to date myself, I remember when RuneScape first came out when I was in the 6th grade, son. All right, 6th grade was 1999 for me.
So wait, all right, so
RuneScape has been around for a minute, dude.
No, I know. I'm a 94 baby. What year were you born?
I was born in 86.
Oh shit! I didn't realize you had a fucking. You have 3/4 of a cheaper dozen on me.
Yeah, I'm turning 35 in a couple weeks, baby.
God damn, bro. You are aged like fine wine.
Well, I treat my body like a temple, like a very sexy temple.
I used to say that, but I would talk about with tattoos. I would be like, I treat my body like a temple, and I'm just painting the walls.
I'm just redoing everything that, I'm not saying God did a bad job, but sometimes you got to renovate.
Yo, I got into a huge God talk last night on Discord.
On a scale of 1 to 3, how high were you?
I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to other people about him.
Oh,
yes.
Question still remains.
Very. 3 or 1, whatever is the highest echelon in this paradigm. If it's like
Bad
golf
scale.
or football, it's the highest of both. The
All
median
right.
is 1.5.
Got it.
um,
How
but no,
profound did you get, man?
no, I wasn't even really the one talking. I mean, I would plug in like a 16th of a conversation because I was in a 25-person call, and probably 16 of us had cameras on and the other whatever fucking 9 didn't. But it was mayhem. And you wouldn't believe it, but you can have 8 simultaneous conversations
Hmm.
with that many. Like, it's really scary. Like, I was talking to one dude while 7 other pairs of people and girls were talking to them. Like,
Hmm.
almost none of us were talking in to the whole group because
Weird.
there's always
Okay.
one dude yelling. Like, it's a really weird environment where you have to drag the mute button around a lot because like someone will join and just strum a guitar until you can't hear anymore, and so
Oh
you
yeah.
hit them with the mute.
I haven't done a Discord audio or video chat. I've done Discord where you're just everyone chats on an ongoing chat or an ongoing chat basically, and everyone's just like saying things and sharing pictures. So I've been a part
Yeah,
of
this
some of this.
has all those functions too. Like, you
Yeah.
could be completely non-video too. These are just additional channels. I mean, I sit here and play RuneScape, and I don't know. When I watch a movie, I like to be engaged in the movie and have snacks and a drink and just be watching, an anime or a movie or whatever.
Right.
But when I'm playing RuneScape, I kind of like to just chat because it's really not labor intensive. Like, I'm click click click
Yeah.
click 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 click. You know what I mean? And so I'll just rattle on and talk, and you know what I mean. It's like one of the most social things I do where I'm the only time that I'm home is in the morning when I'm with my daughter or at night when I'm on my computer because I
Mm.
can't really roam around in the social world at 3 a.m. when I get home from work.
Yeah. Yeah,
Let me
no
go.
doubt. Especially because you guys still have COVID restrictions up where you're at, right?
Not even just that, but like
No.
if I was in Boston, I could go do whatever I wanted. But I'm in Vermont, like, you know what I mean? Stores here close at 9.
I've been
There's
told that Vermont has one of the smaller populations in the US.
Yeah, like the whole state's like a third of a million. Or no, sorry. I said that wrong. That was the estimate I heard. Then it was corrected. It's 2/3 of a million. It's like
Oh,
666,000 people or 600,000 people in the whole state.
yo, real
And
talk.
and like fucking no joke, 5-6 of those are if you drew like a halfway line horizontally across the state, 5-6 or above. The bottom is like trees and fucking 100,000 people. You know what
Wow.
I mean? It's super sketch.
No, real talk though. 100,000 people is my graduating class. No, slash yo, no, slash
No,
JK. You know,
no
joking.
no I knew that, but that's how I feel too. Like out here, my daughter's mom. It's so weird, saying it being not together. But my daughter's mom fucking had it was something like I want to say it was under 100 for her graduating class. Like, it was an astounding number compared to what I had. Like, I had like almost 200 in my class, and they had maybe, I don't even want to know. Like, I think I don't know, I forget these numbers. I can't postulate, but it was astounding. Like, I had 200 in my graduating class, give or take, and fucking, I don't know, it had to be 1,000 in the school. You know what I mean? There was a lot of fucking,
Really?
there was so many fucking people. Like, you would, like, you weren't concerned about anyone saying anything. There was just, we had 3 separate lunches, and there was probably 75, 80 tables in the lunchroom, and all of them were full. Granted, some were only a few kids, and maybe there was 1 or 2 empty because some people dragged chairs and one table was over full or 10 were. But no, dude, there were so many fucking people. Like, so many people. And moving out here, it's just weird. You know what I mean? There's
Mm.
stores that still only take cash, man. What are you?
It's funny to laugh about because I've been a I've been a very moneyless person probably since 2007. I think I only just used my debit card my entire life, and I remember people were saying that was always a bad idea, but I always kept track of my finances just fine.
I mean, I don't know. I understand why they say it's a bad idea because I do a lot of online transactions, like
Yeah.
75% more than I should. And dude, I get fraud on my cards. I get new cards. I like I was gonna try to say a word that began with oct and ran it like 8 times a year, but no, literally like at least 6 or 7 times a year I get a new card. And that might be per bank. depending on the year. Because like I'll be online and I'll be like, oh, I need this app, and I'll buy it, and the purchase that the seller through Steam will be in Switzerland. And that, you know what I mean? My bank's like, this motherfucker doesn't buy shit from Switzerland. Click card off. And then I've got to wait for a phone call. You want to know what happened? It was either last Friday or 2 Fridays ago. I made a purchase of something.
Mm.
Oh gosh, I can't remember what it was. Regardless, I made a purchase, and when I made the purchase, so my Straight Talk payment bounced my debit card for some reason, and I don't know why, but it did. And on the same day that happened, my phone on Straight Talk ran out. So like my phone service ended, and I paid for it. So I'm like, oh, my phone's on. And the main time I use my phone, I have Wi-Fi. So like that's a weird thing for a guy who doesn't have a contract, because like I can still iMessage and email and use all my apps. So like to me, I can have no phone service and really not notice if I'm just trying to use my phone at home.
Yeah, especially if because you do the Wi-Fi calling.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and so I don't know, I just didn't notice. And so I missed the fraud call from the bank, who I could have just called the robot back and been like, boop, 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 I approved this transaction, and my card would have been active on Friday, but it wasn't. And so like Monday morning came, and I went out and swiped it with like a full cart of groceries or something. And it was like dupe. And I was like, dupe. you know and like I had multiple cards, so it wasn't like a big deal. I just handed her another and was like, oh, my bad, I used the wrong one, tee hee. But
Trying to flirt your way out of the groceries.
dude, I'm such a social person. Like I'm so socially awkward. Like I used to investigate people psychologically by being awkward, because like I can just keep saying awkward things, and your response teaches me where your parameters are socially.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
No,
like
I totally get what you mean. I've created a lot of I'll say some pretty off the wall things a lot of times.
yeah, and you
And
learn immediately. Oh, Bink, I know where that guy's line
I
is.
know where this
Those
guy
eyebrows.
totally stands, It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
like, is that what?
right.
You do what?
Mm.
Yeah.
Now
Really,
there's
it's
there's
yeah.
some shit out there. I don't know why this came to my mind, but if you've heard about all those instances of all those people who got stranded and had to like go all cannibal, right?
Where was this? Was this at Fire Festival?
No. At Burning Man, they were doing it. No, I'll give it a quick Google, but I'll give you a synopsis while I type this. But no, so there's
Good.
like 3 separate instances. I'm gonna type this out while I tell you instances of people who crashed and had to eat people. But yeah, no, there was like an airplane and 2 buses or something. And
Okay.
and
This
yeah,
is recent?
it's no, there's a few of them. But so like right here, first one came up. I botched the Google search and it still came up. I'll share a screen for 1 second, but mainly I just want to talk about it. Right here. So cannibalism, survivor of the 1972 Andes plane crash describes
Okay.
terrible decision to stay alive. And so this is only one of them, but there was a few. There was like a bus crash, and there was this Andes plane crash. And nonetheless, the topic I want to talk about is like, that's I like when you're in a life or death situation like that,
Yeah.
is that the go-to, or is it just like just die?
It depends. It's entirely situational. It's very one of the biggest ones that happened that was very, very well known was the Brazilian soccer team that crashed in the mountains, and
Mm-hmm.
they had to eat each other to stay alive. I believe the name of the movie is called Alive. You can if you look that up, if you want to Google it, it's a movie. So it's about a Brazilian soccer team. They crashed somewhere, I believe, in the mountains, and then at some point they had to resort to cannibalism. And it's one of those things. It's where it's situational, it's contextual. If you have to, if the only thing left to do because you've finished out all your rations and whatever possible food you can have,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, you're gonna have to resort to cannibalism. You're gonna find the weakest person first and eat and kill them, process them, and cook them up and eat on them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were trapped if you were trapped, let's say in the woods where there was a lot more life, then I don't see cannibalism actually being a thing. If everyone just worked together to one, forage for food, two, hunt for food, and three, process and process the food, and then four, figure out a way to make clean water, then you're pretty golden for a little while until someone finds you. You wouldn't have to resort to cannibalism. But I believe a lot of the times where people are crashing in the mountains where there's really no life,
Mhm.
no birds are flying over there, no cougars are running around, no rabbits are bouncing and hipping hopping and whatnot. And sorry, I gotta eat you, Paco. It's Dunzo. You weak, homie, and you got the most meat on you.
No, for sure. And like, I don't know, man. It's such a weird thing, man, because like you don't want to be the first dude to resort to that. And I don't know. There's so many instances here, like the Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571, the 1972 plane crash. I know I was watching something on a video the other day about it, and it was just like it really had me thinking, like what my mode of operandus would be. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
what would I do? Would I be the guy who never brought it up, the guy who immediately thought of it? Or would I be, you know what I mean? Like what crashed? We're in literally the middle of nowhere. Tell me the environment. Desert, no animals, super hot. We're in one little cave. We step on the sand, our feet literally blister. Or in the middle of the tundra, we're in the one spot where we're kind of isolated with the plane crash and we're not freezing to death because we're orgy close. And you know what I mean? Like however many instances there could be where like you are fucking stuck. I don't I don't know, man. It really had me thinking like I might just be happy going out and helping people eat. You know, that might be one of the rare instances where my goal is to just be like, yeah, I'm dying with my pride.
Honestly, the fact that you're already thinking about it, it makes you complicit in the fact that you would eat somebody just because you're not even saying, just because you're not saying it doesn't mean that you're not thinking it. You're thinking it.
That's
You're
hilarious.
just the one person with no balls to say it. Unfortunately, that's when Steve comes out and he goes, "Look, guys, I know times are tough, but we got to eat somebody. We're all gonna die, so someone has to sacrifice their life." And he looks at you first and goes, "Why didn't you say anything, pussy?"
Ooh.
He goes right in your face about it. Why are you throwing burns at me, man? Well, I'm in the same situation you are.
I don't know, man. The world is so sketchy, man. Like there are so many little niches of things you can watch, like the History Channel and fucking
Mm.
old history, and trying to correlate what's going to happen in the future. And I don't know. Everything's all crazy. Do you think? Do you own guns?
No, I don't.
Do you plan to?
I do. Right for now,
Would you have a problem if they said no, you can't?
yeah, I have a big problem with that. I would.
So where do you draw your line? Are you going to be in the street fucking with the sign, being like, "No, I'm gonna"?
And wait, are you talking about anti, like, at some point
I don't know. I
protesting?
just no,
Or,
like what I do to my work, bust my balls. You know what I mean? Because like
yeah.
I was I've voted the old guy who falls asleep on the microphone. Um, but it was, to me, it's the lesser of two evils. I didn't like him, and I didn't like Trump, but I'd rather I
Mhm.
just like talking is important to me. And someone who talks like a fucking dildo to 300 plus million people and knows he's talking to 300 plus people, so he talks differently because of that.
Yeah.
Like, great actor, objectively an amazing businessman, not who I fucking want to be talking to anyone in a public sense.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I was just so against that. Like I'm sick of listening to it. The media every day was him for the first like
Hmm.
for the first 2 years. I was maybe having fun. You know, the headlines, it was just like what's on Reddit now, you know.
What's being tweeted?
Yeah, it was a little enjoyable, but I just got really sick of it. Like I
Yeah.
was like, I would be curious to know what's going on. Like I even heard he was great for the military, and supposedly he was great for unemployment and great for a lot of stuff, but it's really hard to compare that to a life of COVID. You know what I mean? Like,
It with former President Trump, it was definitely I think it was a tough call for a lot of people. I think a lot of people didn't know where they stood if they were going to vote for Trump or if they were going to vote for Biden.
Or Kanye.
Or Kanye, yeah. And as a person, I'm a nonpartisan. I'm nonpartisan. The one thing I really always notice with a lot of these left and right politicians is that they're always going to go for the person that they appeal to the most. But what they don't do is they appeal to the independents, right? They don't go, what are you going to do for us? Where do you catch all, And one of them is being guns, right? I honestly believe it's our right.
No, it's in the Constitution. I'm totally for it.
Well, it says right to bear arms, right? It doesn't say firearms. This is to bear arms for whatever reason. Okay.
In what other context are arms important? Did they mean we're allowed to have
swords,
our fucking limbs?
No, they meant like swords, bows and arrows, spears.
I don't know. I think that's
boomerangs.
I think they directly meant guns.
All right, fair enough. I'm not gonna debate that, but I will say, yeah,
they were old timey. They were old timey,
and
I agree with you. The context of a weapon, I get that. The right to protect yourself.
I completely 100% agree with that. But we're right. Where would I draw the line? And I think, all right, your firearms, your handguns, your shotguns, your rifles, okay, have them. Why do you need an M79 grenade launcher now?
Well, the only people who can legally have that would be if they have an FFL. And if you have a federal firearms license, you give up the right to your amendment for search and seizure. So they can just knock on your door and be like, hey, Steven, that's the name I've been using lately for analogous things.
Which is funny because I used Steven earlier. He's really going around these days.
He really is fucking Steve-O. But yeah, it's certainly interesting, but my coworker's been busting my balls. He's like, oh, you're a fucking Biden lover, and you want your guns taken away and you want all this stuff. And I was like, I don't like, I really wonder how that could happen. Like if anything was going to cause a civil war, that like saying we're going to take your guns, you can slowly ban X, Y, and Z. But anyone who knows what rifling is knows that go ahead, ban the AR-15. You didn't ban the fucking, the size of the bullet or the barrel. There's other guns that you can put the same fucking mag into that will do a different thing in the same way.
Yeah.
And, it'll have a different name. We're going to ban that too. And can you tell me about something? The one thing I'm very, politically unintelligible, if that's said correctly.
Politically out of the loop.
Boom. I know what I think I know, but I'm sure most of it's wrong. And you can't blame me for operating on a system of which I think's right but is wrong. I walk up a set of stairs. I don't know if they're fake or real. They get me up though.
Right.
But no, so is there a certain amount of like orders or executive orders or something that they can do, like 3 per party or something?
Unlimited.
It's unlimited.
They're nearly unlimited, but they can always be contested.
Okay, because one of my coworkers was like, they get 3 per party that are not agreed with by both parties, and I was like, huh, or like 3 per the. I'm not sure how he meant it, but nonetheless, he was like, they did one for this and they did one for this, and they only have 1 left, or they did all 3 or something like that. And I was just like, huh, I didn't know there was a limit to something that they could or could not do, in the sense of.
So let's see, an executive order,
and maybe a arose by another name, but
yeah,
certainly it just perplexed me. Like I didn't know how that works. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure they get there. It's not limited, but they do get they can do, because let's see, if you look here, according to Wikipedia, and I can tell you, right, I'm just looking up at Wikipedia, so I'm not gonna, as reliable as it can be. Okay, so we're gonna go back as recent as the presidents you would know. Okay, so we're gonna start with George H.W. Bush, the original Bush. He did 166 in his entire term. In Bill Clinton's 2 terms, he did the most, 364. George W. Bush, after him, did 291. Barack Obama in his 2 terms did 276. Donald Trump with his 1 term of 4 years did 220. So far, President Biden has only done 38. Now, the most that's ever been done by a president, and I'm just looking here, this is amazing. Franklin D. Roosevelt, he did 3,721 executive orders. God damn.
So there's no limit, at least what that guy was saying. Maybe he meant a different
Yeah.
thing, but
Yeah, people have to be careful. People have to be careful what they say, especially with me. I'm the kind of asshole who, when someone says something to me, I always say, where did you hear that? Where did you read that?
well, yeah, I was at work and I was trying to move on, but like I super don't know.
Can
man.
you send me the article on that by any chance? And then they go, oh, I saw it on Facebook. I don't know. It's always the answer I get. I go, then I cannot trust you as a reliable source for that information.
Yeah.
When someone was saying that Joe Biden had just signed an executive order to take away people's guns, I looked everywhere for it. I saw nothing. Then she tells me where she first saw it was on a thing called Epoch Times, and Epoch Times unfortunately is a right-wing owned news outlet. So therefore, I have to say it's biased, and they have usually, unfortunately, when they lean politically and as opposed to anything other than neutrality, they're pushing an agenda. Unfortunately, they're painting a narrative. That's what they do. It's what a lot of people do. Like every interest group out there usually will paint some sort of narrative so everything works. Something would work in their favor.
Dude, it's crazy. Now, listening to a bunch of Plato and stories amongst Socrates.
I don't know these rappers.
Hilarious.
All right, go on.
I learned a little bit about at least what I believe to be that, like, we're a democracy with parts of an oligarchy and parts of, there's a bunch of mixed parts. We're not solely one thing. We're kind of a muggle of sorts, in the sense of Harry Potter speak.
I understand.
So is that right? Like we're not the pure democracy. We're not aligned with that. We have separate traits, right?
Right. So if we're going back to what Roman Republic was, it was a republic and a democracy, but it was based off an aristocracy. So people who are more higher up socially on the social class were actually making decisions for everyone else on the bottom.
Okay. Yeah,
I could be wrong. I don't know enough. It's been a while since grade 9 history class, dude. So I couldn't tell you. I don't know how
since grade 9 history class.
I only know the kind of the government system that we have here. We have our 3 executive powers, right? Our judicial, our legislative, and then our executive, right? So those are your 3 ways not 3 ways, but those are the 3 branches of powers that we originally spread out between these 3 branches so that not one branch has all the power. Okay. We spread it out because if we gave the executive branch the same powers as the judicial branch, where they could just go ahead and just judge everything. Yeah. You know what? Let's lower the fucking age of consent to 10. Bam. He just bangs the gavel. What? You want crack legal? Bam. What's up, homie? Instead of doing executive orders, he's just saying, I'm just going to make this a law now, dude. So we have to spread that power out, right? The Supreme Court, that's why the Supreme Court exists, is to make sure what's being done is considered constitutional in a way.
Okay.
So it's really tough to say if our democracy is what you call a muggle or not an entirely purebred democracy, but it is still a democracy in the way that we vote.
Yeah, the people lead, and I get that. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll be that 50-year-old who knows a bunch about a bunch with all this. But like, to be honest, I'm gonna turn my bedroom in my new place to a studio and just pump out music like a fucking rabbit pumps out kids. You know what I mean?
Interesting segue.
Bang. You know what I mean? Like changes are a ruin. You know what I mean? I'm ready, bro. You know what I mean? I'm hyped.
It's you get the thing to do in my personal view is to keep living. You be happy and seek happiness and
What's your key philosophy, bro? Like if someone asked you,
mm.
Leon, indubitably, what is your philosophy? Like where are you at? How would you describe it? I'm an egghead. I'd give you a different answer every time, and I'd talk your ear off every time about some stupid shit you didn't want to hear. But like, how would you answer that question? Would you base it on the context of the person? Like, would you go all deception on them and be like, oh, I know your demographic. I'll tell you the answer you want to hear, so that way you don't lose me in 3 words. Or do
I
you have one answer for all shades of gray?
I don't think I've never been asked this. I've never been asked this question, but the one thing that did pop into my head in my mind was live to seek to be happy and live like a true happiness, whatever that may be. If you're happy with just living in a studio apartment with 4 cats, do you, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like to think of myself as a generally happy person. I'm in a better place now than I ever have been probably 6 years ago. And I'm financially in terms of my romantic life, in terms of what I've been doing in my hobbies and other activities that I'm doing. I'm podcasting now. I got into podcasting over a year ago. I stopped the show and then I got on this show, and I'm having fun with you and Spence. It's been phenomenal. The last 4 or 5 episodes we all did together. Sans the fact that the last 2 episodes is me, you, and a guest. It's been a great time. And then the fact that I've written more words in the last 2 years of my life than I ever had in the last 10 years. Okay. And I remember 10 years ago, I wanted to be a writer, and I stopped after the first 2 years of doing it. I think I just stopped, and I couldn't do it anymore, and I just fell out of it. And then things in my life started changing, and I really got to a point in a place in my life where I said, what makes me happy is creating worlds, creating characters, and telling stories. So that made me truly happy. So then I just started getting back into writing, and I've been doing more writing than I ever have in a long time. And like I said, in these last 2 years. So live to seek true happiness is what I would tell somebody if they go, what's your philosophy? Live to seek true happiness.
Now let me go all
Oh, here we go. It's the schism.
Yeah, let's go all swami salami on you. What about if your philosophy is negative? Like, what if it impedes on other people's life? What if it's overall societally frowned upon?
Right.
Then where do you stand? Like, is it like, oh,
yeah,
well, it makes him happy? Because it's like, well, there's some, like, if it makes you happy and you like to fuck kids, we have 2 problems.
Yeah, right.
You're
we
alive and you like to fuck kids.
I mean, you can honestly to live at that point.
So like, but
I see what you're saying though.
Like, because that's how Socrates said.
Totally.
He was like, do we give total freedom? Because total freedom allows for some real fucked up shit.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
Where do you put the ban hammer?
Where do you put the ban hammer? Well, that's why we have the laws that we have, right? We have laws against murder, basically manslaughter, intentional killing, not self-defense killing, just intentional killing. The kind of killing that says, yo, that dude fucked my girl, I'm going to go ahead and put a bullet in his head, kind of thing, right? We have laws.
Leon, how dare you go there?
I know, right? So we have laws. We have those laws in place because society, like from a societal experience, we've seen what happens when we give people too much freedom. So now we start adding limitations. We start adding barriers, and to let people know this is the playground that this is the sandbox that you are now currently in, and play within reason. But no one's going to tell you not buy a car. No one's here telling you you can't get a gun yet. I mean, especially because, for me, specifically for me, I think we should have a little bit more of a more in-depth background check. I think it should expand out to a psychological background check, because do we really want somebody with schizophrenia, bipolar, getting a gun?
That's a hazy line too. No, no,
That is,
no, 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 no. Fuck no. I don't want them having a gun. That's not my argument. I just like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? There's a lot of people who are those things and don't know they're those things. That's one of the
yeah,
characteristics of being those things.
right. Unless you get a full on psych evaluation.
Even
eh,
those are shoddy though, because
Yeah,
like
you know,
if you're bipolar and only part of your bi comes out during your interview, you might be fine.
right,
You
exactly.
know,
So
like there's
it's a
closeted drug
really,
addicts and closeted
I
homophobe,
know,
not homophobes, closeted homosexuals. That there's so many types of, you know, things that exist but exist quietly.
right. And I really believe that you should be able to live to seek your true happiness, but at the same time, respect other people's space and what their philosophies are, and not to impose or impede your beliefs or it. Because you're right. If we allow, if someone's happiness is to go around stabbing people, then that person has obviously got his scruples all upside down and twisted
Yeah, he's
around.
not
He's
against the common. No, no, I was gonna say the community goal, and I came out as comedy.
yeah, the community goal to survive.
Yeah, but so I don't know. I'm weird with lines, bro. I get like I don't get anxiety for like real things, like for fighting and for you know what I mean, dangerous activities. You know, I'm never nervous. Fast as fucking a car or motorcycle or whatever. Like you know, the first day I own a new motorcycle, I tell you exactly how fast it goes compared to what Google said. Fucking immediately. Like you know what I mean. I need to know. You know, it's not hard to do. I just and it gets there. But I don't know, like, when it comes to lines, like, dude, I get, like, line anxiety. Like, I'll be in line and trying to, like, at, like, a drive-through, and, like, maybe I had, like, a ridiculous fucking order that was going to be huge, and then 6 people pull up, and I'll be like, "Skirt, 4 less things, roll." Like, or I'll be shopping, and there'll be mad people, and I'm like, "We gotta go. We gotta go." Like, there's you know what I mean? It's shit's getting
Yeah.
thick. I don't know what it is. Living in the city wasn't the problem either. It's not the people. If my activity isn't to buy things, there's never anxiety. You can put me shoulder to shoulder, you know, in fucking anywhere, and I'm fucking chill to some accord. But I don't know, shot like lines get me all weird, bro. They're like the
Yes.
weirdest
So don't
societal
bring you to a
part.
theme park.
No, and I'm not buying something there though. Like the activity isn't to buy, so I'm chill waiting in the
Yeah.
line. We can talk about it'd be like a podcast, you know.
Right. Okay. All
I'm
right. So
chill.
I'm starting to understand more about this line anxiety that you have. Okay.
I don't,
Got
dude,
it.
I don't get what it is, man. I really don't, you know. But I'll be in line, and my choices are mitigated by how many people are behind me.
Really?
No, like literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I might be that guy who gets really high and goes to Wendy's and orders $66 of food. And if there's three dudes behind me, I'll only order $12 of food. You know, like it's a weird thing. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
No,
Yeah,
it's not entirely weird. It's just there. It's whatever you're running off of that.
yeah. Like
Who
but
knows?
it's
Who knows where it stems from? Only you really know.
I don't get gratification like I'm being
Mm.
courteous
Yeah.
because it bothers me. Like it you know innately irritates me.
Right.
You know, and once I'm on and gone, I'm like, whew. We escaped that situation, Richard. You know, it's so fucking weird. It doesn't exist anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't have that in any other thing. You know what I mean? If we both climb up on top of a mountain, you're like, if you jump from this tree, you can get to the other side. I'll be like, I can do this, and I'll just go, like no anxiety.
None.
Or you know what I mean? In a car, if you're like, if you get to 50 and shift and turn and put it in reverse, you know, you can do this crazy stupid trick. I'll be like, I might break my car, but I'll try it, you know, and like no anxiety. Same with the motorcycle. Gotta learn how to wheelie. I'm gonna fall. So I'll just pillowcase myself. You know what I mean?
But as
Fucking
soon as you go to the store and you want to pick up $149 or $238 worth of groceries, and you see that it's just thick with it's
groceries
dense,
don't.
dense.
Yeah, no, actually, so I get the grocery anxiety when I'm on the belt with the full cart and there's like 8 people behind me and it's like, okay, item, 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 item. It's super fucking weird. I don't know. Like, and I'm such an extrovert. Like, I could talk to anyone about anything and never be weird. but we get to a line and it's like, oh, whew, it's hot in here.
Who knows, man? Who knows where that stems from, man? It's probably
What?
something you should totally look into.
With what? A magnifying glass?
No, man. You go back, think about the last time you were anxious in line, and just keep going down the line till you
I don't
find
know.
something that origins that whole thing.
I don't know if that's how it works, mate. Like
Works with
I agree with you cognitively. Like, yeah, if I could just get over it, I could get over it. But I don't understand, I especially don't understand where it stems from, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've done that where I look at, man, why do I always get so upset when I do this? And I'll start thinking about, all right, I remember the last time I got upset about this, it was this, it was last week. And then the last time this happened was a month before that. And then eventually I kind of start connecting I start connecting certain dots and seeing certain similarities. And eventually I start to discover there's outside forces that were very similar in every situation, where I go, oh, that's why. Every time I hear something click every time I hear something click and something scratch, and then I hear the voice of shrillness, I eventually I get very defensive because it reminds me of my mom. Oh, okay, that's why. And then of course I'm being my mom now. I have to be my mom because she knows she's the only strong person in my life, so I have to now do everything my mom does. So once I make these like realizations, eventually that just clicks out. Just
Mhm.
I remember like this one time, no joke, that I had this pain in my lower back, right? And every time it would hurt, it would just hurt, right? It just like this lower back pain on the left side. No amount of massaging would ever, or even chiropractic would ever fix it. It would just, flare up. And then one day, get this bullshit, I was in the bathtub with my girl,
Dun dun dun.
and I go to get up, and I was on the side of the bathtub where would you say the faucet? Was that
The drain or whatever?
that?
Sure.
No,
Yeah,
not the drain, where the water comes out the spout, basically.
okay.
So I go to get up, but before I got up, I stopped myself because I realized how close I was on hitting it. And then all of a sudden, my mind clicked back to this one time I was in the tub, and I got up so fast, and I was on the side of the spout, and I got up so fast that it hit my back and scraped off the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that happened, the pain stopped.
But it wasn't placebo?
No, it was not placebo. I wasn't taking any sugar pills, nothing. It was like the weirdest thing.
That's not how placebo works. Placebo, like psychosomatic injuries are, you know
Oh,
what I
that
mean?
I
Like,
thought you meant like placebo as in like the sugar pills. I'm sorry, dude.
no, placebo isn't like the concept of the power of thought. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
two people have a medicine, but one of the medicines sugar, and the trial showed that the people who took the sugar had an equal to or better than result than the people who didn't. And it's like, well, that's cuckoo, for Cocoa Puffs.
I honestly believe that the mind does have a level of power over the body. I really do. I really do believe that.
Oh yeah.
And I will say that as soon as I realized that same exact spot, because there's always been a scar there, and I never thought, and I had this scar, dude. This is back in university when I was living with roommates. So I've had this thing since 2009. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been dealing with this back pain since 2009. And all of a sudden in fucking 2018, I realized even further back, I think 2016. No, a little bit further up, like 17, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's very recent. I have this, I almost hit my back on the bathtub. And then I realized, oh my God, that's why my back hurts. And then as soon as that happened, the pain just shut off. It just shut off. And I was just going, that's where I got the scar from. That's why my back always hurts. And it just all of a sudden it just shut off. So is it placebo? Yeah, I can't argue that in a way that it was the mind over the body. It was mind over the body that really cured it. But when because the thing is, it was always being a mystery about the pain. Why am I pain? Why does my lower back always flare up? Why do I have this scar there? Where did this scar come from? I just remember my girlfriend, the girls I was with, who would always point it out to me, and I went, I don't know, maybe a skateboarding accident. I would always say, go, I used to skateboard and do a lot of bicycling, and I used to jump off of roofs and staircases, and I would just fall and get hurt. So it's no, yeah, whatever. Maybe that's from that. And then it wasn't that at all. It was the freaking bathtub spout. Yeah. I believe that if you go down your own track and just find similar incidents where that connect to one thematic thing, I do believe you can get to the source of the why. Make sense?
I'm with you. On
Yeah.
a different note here. We might run a little longer.
It's fine.
Yeah, no. So what categories do you want to let, because the topics we've hit in this episode have been so fucking sporadic. I'm not,
I know.
Certainly going to be interesting.
I know.
But what topics do you want to talk about? I got a pen and I'm going to grab something to write on here. Do you want to have guests for? Because fucking Spencer's got a good idea here for going in for cliches of not cliches, but like niches is the word I was looking for. Of like people, like we had a guy for, I don't know why did I just drop blank. A guy for action figures. Yeah. I had the word. I was gonna say comic books, and I was like, nope. You showed me comic books. Right. But yeah. So what do you want to talk about? I mean, obviously there's video games, and that's
yeah. I feel like that's a given at this point with this generation of people. Everyone knows video games. Video games is almost like shaking hands with somebody. Everybody out there plays a video game of some kind. Either it's on their phone or it's on a console or on a PC. People play video games these days. But some things I would love to see. I would like to see more. I would like, a little people that's subscribe to different philosophies in life. You know what I mean? The ways of living, lifestyle, stuff like that. What
far? Like, do you want?
I can't
like
think
of a far out one, or?
Yeah, why not? Let's bring someone that's really hippy dippy. Let's bring someone that's
what's really hippy dippy.
I don't even know, man. Maybe somebody that heals with crystals instead of going out and getting vaccinated. I don't know. We're gonna crystallize the COVID away.
Let me write crystal healer. Bada bing, bada boom, bazinga. Okay. Crystal healer. I'm with you there. What else, man? Like, what else? What could you ask endless questions about? That, just curious. Do you want a guy on here who does D&D and we can listen to you talk about crazy, insane stories?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it. Let's talk about D&D.
I'll leave that one to you. I'm sure there's
I'll see if I can find
billion people on the subreddit of D&D who are more than willing to just open their gutter to.
There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us out there. What else?
The community of RuneScape is huge too, and that's my biggest favorite thing about it, bro.
Like, that's not surprising, dude. It's been around for 2 decades.
So big. Yeah, and it's like it's accessible. I think it's like $8.99 a month or $6.99 a month for a membership. Like, it's not like it's the cheapest subscription you could own, and there's endless things to do.
Yeah. If we can really find somebody, if I can go out there, I would love to get people who work in whatever industry, video game industry, programmers out there. Maybe find someone who is starting up to be a voice actor that is doing things on YouTube, and just we can talk to people like that. I would love to talk to people that are doing stuff like that on YouTube.
I'm down to talk to voice actors, because I'm very curious how you train an accent. Like, there's a big difference to me on how I sound out loud and how I sound in my head. You know what I mean? Like, my representation of myself is super weird. And so when I hear myself on camera, I instinctively don't like how it sounds to begin with. And so it's really weird when I make accents, because like, even if I think my accent's dead balls on, it's like, is it though? Like,
let's do accents. Let's do accents.
Oh God, I don't know. All right.
What do you got?
Give me your Tom Hanks. I am the captain now.
I am the captain now. No, look at me. I'm
Oh,
Captain now.
no, that's like what Nigerian
I don't
or
know. I think it's
Somalian or
Somalian. Yeah. I never seen the
something.
movie. I just know people have quoted the line to me and they
I'm
try to
still
do some
dying to
sort.
see that movie. Maybe
Yeah.
fuck it. Maybe I'll watch that after this. I've got nothing to
Yeah.
do for a
Right.
while. I don't know what it's on. I'm gonna write that down because I've been wanting to see that. I
how's your
told.
how's your Christopher Walken?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can. I do
There
Christopher
were three
Walken.
little pigs. One made house out of straws, the other of sticks. But the last one, he's no Dunsky. He made it out of brick.
Oh man, I don't know. Like I'd have to hear it in my. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think.
Or you could
Yeah,
talk like this? You
man, I'm
you
trying to
fucking
think of.
asshole.
I'm trying to think of him from Click. You know what I mean? Like that Christopher Walken. You know what I mean? Fucking man. Now he has a unique accent.
Yeah.
What about your British? My British is terrible.
It's
I'm not even gonna give you that.
been a while that I've done a Benders accent.
And if you say the word crumpets, I'm gonna punch you.
Hey, crumpets and tea. Let's see.
Or crumpets, whatever it's called.
I'm trying to think. So like me and my mates, right? We're out over at the pub watching the game, right, on the telly. All of a sudden, this guy, Scottish guy comes in, and you know how Scottish people are. He's all like, "Oi, look at me, I'm Scottish. I'm a
Yeah.
fucking twat." You know, so we fucking bug off over there. And then my friend Mikey, he just goes, "Hey, let's go to another pub that sells chicken wings." And then my friend Georgie says to him, like, "Oh, you want to go get chicken wings, dude? Yeah, real American. Get chicken wings, bro."
Until the end of that, dude, you could sell that on Discord for a minute.
Yeah,
You really could. Like, you'd at least sell me.
like
I'm
talk
not
like
from.
this.
I'm not from the Greens.
No, you know, over in the across the pond, you know, just
Across the
talking
pond,
like,
you know?
quite talking,
God.
teasing, crumpets, and fuck the queen.
No, my biggest problem I think was cigarettes. Like they're really fucking up my throat.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm about a year off them, and I'm working on it. And there's a huge like a diametric opposite between now and then. And so another year or two, and maybe I'll be at least in the shape where learning is on par with how you should be when you learn. Because when you smoke a lot, your throat gets all grr.
Yeah,
And so
it really roughs it up.
I try to get to a high note, and I hit a point where I'm like, huh. And it's like not possible. Yeah,
How's your eye? How's your pentatonic scale?
I don't know if I ever heard that word pentatonic.
Pentatonic, yeah, pentatonic scale.
Hmm.
Do re mi fa so ti.
That's what that's called.
Yeah,
that's the
pentatonic scale. Yeah,
okay.
I used to do music. So
I used to do music. So
I mean back in grade school and whatnot. I remember I studied music, so I got all this data in my head about music. I didn't produce any music.
I used to be the best Shakespeare,
FYI, I was Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet.
I don't want to flex.
A pox on your house.
But I was so good. I played Romeo and Juliet.
Dude, saying that you played Romeo and Juliet is a flex. That would be cool too. Just get someone that does theater acting for local theater. That'd be dope. I would be very interested in talking to someone that does local theater, especially some of the shit that I've seen in Tampa Bay.
What's local? Like
Tampa, in an area, let's say Tampa Bay, we have our actors here. There's a couple. We have, I think, about 4 playhouses, and they all have their own team of people, production, and actors and whatnot. See, that something like that to me would be very interesting. Local theater, people that do local theater.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
Or open mic performers, people who just keep doing open mics, trying to make a name for themselves. Those are always cool.
I'm with you there. Certainly a lot of shit.
Someone that's really into BDSM, maybe a pro dom, like a pro dom. Let's get a pro dom on here. How about that?
You want to have an hour talk about sexual maneuvers?
No. I already know them all.
He's like, I use the app. I remember there was an app with a checklist when I was in high school, and it was like, bro, we're gonna get through this. And I was like, woo, you don't know how monogamy works, young gun. Oh, there's some things couples don't do and speak again. All
Man,
right, now
that's all I got off the top of my head, off the top of the dome.
top of the dome. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, no, that was a hell of a segue of tons of delicious material.
Guys, I hope you really liked this episode. It was a smorgasbord of an episode. Hello.
I could never spell that. But yeah, on that note, we can cut back and kick back for the rest of the night. What do you got going on for the rest of the night?
Well, we canceled, so D&D got canceled tonight. So I don't know what we're gonna do. We already watched Sword in the Stone. We may end up watching more King of the Hill or something. But I did get into
Classic.
Higurashi.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that? So it's an anime with a cult following. It's basically about these 5 kids, and I guess it comes off as a slice of life romantic show, but then people start getting killed at some point. So I'm watching what's considered to be the third iteration or the third season. So I'm watching that. It's a horror show. I love horror. I'm a huge fanatic of horror.
Yeah, I hated it as a kid, but I really like it now. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but maybe we'll see. We'll see what's on the Loo, which is what I call Hulu for short. The Loo.
on the loo.
It's on the Loo. I watch the Loo while I'm on the. Do you watch Loo on the Loo?
You watch Lou on the loo?
Do you watch Lou on the Lou? Yeah. No, of course. Of course not, you don't. You live on your own flat, and you go over there and you bugger off here in it? No. Yeah, fuck off.
All right. On that note, you got anything you want to plug before the end?
Yeah, I do. I posted up a news story on my blog. You can check that out at stillfoxes.home.blog. We'll share it in the descriptions or wherever we post on our podcast. I posted a news story there. It's called "I Want to Try Gay Things with My Femboy Roommate." Long story, just an FYI for everybody. It is an 18+ story. There's lots of
You don't fucking say.
no, it's a lot of, believe it or not, there's a lot of homoerotic between 2 guys in college.
I do. I just see. It's a 70s porn stash.
Yeah, if I cover up and just leave the stash, not the whole thing over there. I wrote this story by hand, but believe it or not, I literally wrote it with pen because I wanted to better my writing ability. So I thought, well, why don't I just write something in pen? You know how the way the classics used to do it. And then I did that, and I came up with this story and wrote it out. Really, I wrote it. Took me days to write. It's about 3,500 words, and I transcribed it onto the computer. Finally, I edited it, and I decided to post it on my blog. It's definitely 18+. It's a lot. Like I said, it's very.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I would love for people to come check it out and read all about it. I have another story that I'm working on that is also pretty erotic. So watch out for that, guys. But that one's gonna be a little bit. That's more straight than homo. So so it's gonna be a little bit more hetero. But yeah, so check it out. Still Foxes, STILLFOXES.home.blog.
Boom. Hope everyone had a good show. We did have a guest planned, and he was a no show. But no big deal. Shit happens. We hope you enjoyed it. You knew
Just
we didn't
listen
have, yeah, we're just bullshitting. But
Yeah,
thank you for
2
listening.
guys.
Everyone have a good night.